And welcome back to the Dark Souls playthrough. In our last episode, we had just killed Seat the Scaleless, got the Moonlight Butterfly sword, and we bought all the spells from Big Hat Logan. So our next goal is going to be to go back after Big Hat Logan, to get him to go crazy, to kill him, take his gear, and then head after our next series of bosses, which will be the Moonlight Butterfly, so that we can get the enchanted, or not the enchanted, the Divine Ember, which will let us make a divine weapon, and then we will go after Sif, the wolf, who will give us the ring to the abyss so we can take on the 4 kings. And I don't know, that is probably enough content for this video. We'll see where we go. That's my goal for right now. What I just did was I had a couple Firekeeper souls that I went and made sure that my flasks were nice and upgraded. And now I'm going to make sure that I have all the spells purchased from this guy, just to make sure, so that we can make sure that when we get to Big Hat Logan that the event is going to be ready for him to go crazy.
I've done much to it. Before I leave on this journey, I will Oh, hello. Then, as promised.
Wow, that's some expensive shit. I don't have enough to buy it. I guess I'm just not going to buy it. Maybe I don't need to buy all this guy's spells. I'm not entirely sure. I guess if you want to know the exact way to get Master Logan to go crazy, then you should look on the Dark Souls wiki. I know that in this playthrough I got him to do it, so I just don't know if I can repeat the actual steps. Just do everything I do and he'll go crazy on you. So we're up into Anor Londo now to go back to the Duke's archives and get him. Now, I'm going to greatly speed this up because we've already been through this whole area, so it's just some back traveling. But again, the reason why we're doing this is because, for one, Logan's hat looks awesome, and I just wanted to have it in my my archive. I'm not actually going to wear it because the hat I have right now is pretty much the best hat for a sorcerer because it's the only one, I believe, that allows you to do additional magic damage. He gives you a good set of armor that I didn't find out until after this playthrough that it's some of the best gear when it's upgraded, I guess. But I didn't end up doing that. But the main thing that we're going to get from him is his catalyst. There'll be 2 catalysts that we'll get. One that we'll get from him directly, and one that will come from a box, a treasure box. And the one that we get from him deals like almost twice as much damage as anything that we have so far. But it reduces the number of charges that you have in each spell in half, which is reason enough for me to not use in PvE. I guess it would be a good PvP catalyst because you wouldn't necessarily need all of the charges. There's the large magic ember that that allows you to ascend a weapon to magic plus 10, I believe. In my opinion, that's not as good as the enchanted plus 5 that we've got already. And then I'm just going to dick around in this room and look around for more treasure because I thought that for whatever reason, yep, there was more. Soul of a Great Hero. Big Hat Logan is not here right now, so we're going to have to go back to the little library room where we found him before to get the event to trigger. Now, the other, I guess I'm going to rewind a bit, the other catalyst that we get in a box with all of his gear after we kill him, and that I think it's called Logan's Catalyst, and that one's the one I'm going to end up using because it doesn't reduce your charges on your spells, but it's still significantly better magic damage wise than what we've got now. So I'm going to head and skip forward again. I'm going to go back to the Firelink Shrine because I just want to make sure that there's no dialogue choices that I missed out on to trigger the event properly. And then I just get pissed and I'm going to end up killing this guy. But the reason I do that is because I think that he drops a ring that increases the damage of your sorcery, but in fact he sells it in his 20,000 souls, and I thought that when you killed him he dropped it, and that turns out to not be true. So if you end up playing a sorcerer, don't kill this guy. At least until after you bought the 20,000 soul ring that lets him do more damage. Lets you do more damage.
Then I have
So what he does end up dropping is a humanity, Sorcery Hush, which makes you quiet when you walk, and then that's the exact effects of the ring as well. It makes it so you make no sound when you move, so whatever, this was a waste of time. I'm just going to cut some more video and jump back to the Duke's Archives, which is where I'm heading now.
Who are you? Stay clear of my work. Curses upon how dead.
So there you see, his dumbass has gone a little bit crazy. That happens again when you buy all of his spells and after you kill Seath the Scaleless. So then you come back and talk to him. Now, to get him to actually appear in the next zone, we actually have to quit out of the game and then come back in. And he's going to be in the room where we initially fought Seath. So there we see he's not here. So we're just going to quit the game, reload, and then his crazy ass will be here. Wearing nothing but a hat, because he's fucking crazy. He gets owned bad, fucking super easy. And then he'll join, he'll drop right now a Catalyst, as well as I believe the spell called White Dragon Breath. Oh, he does drop his hat right here. And that 10 Catalyst. See, it does 282 magic adjust, which is significantly better than what we had, but it halves your sorcery usages, so we're not going to use that. And there's the big hat. It does have better stats than what I've got now, but unfortunately doesn't buff your magic. So now if we go back to the room where we originally found Logan in the Duke's Archives, we will we'll find a chest there that has the remainder of his gear and the catalyst that we're going after, but we may have to quit out of the game one more time. Dark Souls is really weird about that. Sometimes you have to go to bonfires and make things appear, and other times you have to completely quit out of the game. I doubt that was a design decision. It's or maybe it is. I don't know. It's stupid though. So here's where the chest is supposed to be. So we quit out the game, reload, and it should be here. And there it is. Logan's Catalyst. It actually looks cool too, like an old mage's wand and not a big old stick like all these other ones. 234. It's still got good magic adjust. The other one's 282, so it's not that far behind. Yep. That's what we're going to use. So anyway, after this we're going to head on to the next series of bosses, which is going to be the Moonlight Butterfly and the Darkroot Garden. So I'm going to go ahead and just teleport there to skip a little bit of time. Now, to get to the Moonlight Butterfly, this is in the Darkroot Garden, which is by the first blacksmith, or potentially the second blacksmith that you run into, the one in the Undead Parish. So we're gonna go up to him and head down that way. This boss is ridiculously easy, especially if you're in human form, because you can summon witch Priscilla? No, that's not her name. I don't remember. Some witch that we summon into our game, and she can single-handedly take the boss down for you. You're just gonna be you want to have the crest shield equipped, because the boss deals only magic damage that hits pretty hard. And if you don't have that, you know, you could probably get rocked. But now, being that I'm a sorcerer, I won't have any problems with this boss anyway, because well, you'll see when you get there. If you end up being a melee character and you aren't in human form, it's still easy to take this boss down. Just take the hits from her magic damage with your shield up, and heal yourself, and eventually she comes down and lands where you can actually get some melee hits off. And if you're powerful enough, you can kill her all before she gets back up. Here we're giving him the Black Ember, the Dark Ember that we found in the Painted World of Ariamis, which allows him to make occult weapons, which are weapons that scale off of faith, but cannot kill the skeletons in the catacombs. I don't exactly know what the point of occult weapons are at all, I guess. I guess maybe they have a use in PvP. I'm not entirely sure. So again, here's the Darkroot Garden. We've been here before to get this crest shield. Oh no, maybe we haven't. Oh, we killed the Hydra. Yeah, we've been in this area before. Anyway, the Moonlight Butterfly's not too far ahead of here. These trees you have to watch out for, not necessarily this late in the game, but with other characters I've come in here early game. There's a set of Elite Knight armor that you can get that's pretty good for melee characters early on. And if you don't have a lot of health and you're not paying attention, these trees can kind of bend down and eat you, and it can pretty much one-shot you, so you got to watch out for that. Right in front of us is the door that requires the 20,000 soul key from the blacksmith, called the Door of Artorias or something, and then here's a hidden door that leads you to a bonfire. The door that requires the souls takes you into the area with those ghost NPCs, and we had gone in there before when we were going after the Enchanted Ember and when we joined the Forest Brotherhood or whatever I'm in right now. Again, if you were to rest at this bonfire and then open up that door, you can easily farm like 8,000 souls over and over within a series of a couple minutes by running in through that door, gathering up all the ghost NPCs, and then running and hiding on a ledge, and they basically all just jump off of a cliff. I'm not going to do that in this video, but there's lots of videos on YouTube that you can look up for farming souls in the Darkmoon Forest, I think that it's called. Now before we go for the butterfly, there's actually a secret passage here. This giant tree you can actually kill and take out. And this takes you to another little area that, in the end, the only thing really that we want to get down here is a ring called the, I don't know, the Hornet Ring maybe? I'm not exactly sure. The Wolf Ring. It gives you a lot of poise, which is really good for PvP. Poise is a statistic, I'm not sure if I'm going to explain it correctly here, but it's essentially like stamina and health, where there's kind of an invisible bar, and the more poise you have, the bigger the bar would be. And based off of when you take damage from enemy players or when they're hitting your shield, that bar would drain, though you can't see it. And once it gets all the way down to 0 is when you would get stunned or knocked back. And so the more poise you have, the longer you would be able to last from somebody beating on you, which, again, is good in PvP. Not all that useful in this, as far as PvE is concerned, except for maybe, like, the final boss, who just puts a fucking ass beating on you melee style. Those big giants that one of them I took down before aren't all that hard for me at this point in the game. If you come here earlier, they could be a lot harder because they have a lot of armor, and they have a spell that slows you. I know you can get that spell. It's a miracle. I don't remember exactly what it's called. It's not Wrath of the Gods. It's something else. But it slows you down. It's really good in PvP because it slows your enemies down, but not you, right? So it's a lot easier for you to get your backstabs and whatnot on them. Anyway, here's the ring, and that's all that we've got to do in this little area. And now we can go for the butterfly. magic damage apparently kicks their ass. So here's the witch to summon. She's hidden in these bushes here. I believe that you can get her gear too. I don't know if it's after this encounter or after you can summon her for the Four Kings as well, though I don't recommend it. And then it appears in the Valley of Drakes, I believe. I've never actually gone to get it. Now this is the boss fight. It's just this narrow walkway here, and the butterfly is going to be on our left. There she is. And all she does is have ranged magic attacks. The witch will pummel her, but I think that I'm going to be able to deal more damage than the witch is. This is kind of a trivial encounter for the sorcerer, but again, if you just hold your shield up if you're melee, she will eventually land where you can go down and put a beating on her and she won't fight back. The Moonlight Butterfly shield, or her soul, can be used to, let's see, I think it creates a spear or a shield, and the shield, I believe, can be used to throw a magic projectile that scales with probably magic damage. The Moonlight shield, I don't remember exactly what it's called. It used to be really good, but now I'm pretty sure they nerfed it and it sucks, so I always just consume the Moonlight Butterfly soul. I don't need that for anything. And then up here on top of this tower is going to be the Divine Ember and a Homeward Bone so that you can get out of here quickly. Ah, and the Watchtower basement key. That's the tower that's down by the Hydra that unlocks a door that takes you to Havel, which is that big dude that gives you the ring that lets you wear all the equipment that we ran into in the Undead Burg right after killing the Taurus demon. So it's kind of we've just gone kind of full circle here if you use that back door. So now we're going to give the Divine Ember to this blacksmith. And I'm actually going to make a divine weapon with that enchanted falcon that we found in the Duke's Archives. So to do that, I have to actually descend it twice, I believe. And then also we have to buy that the Crest of Artoris, which opens the door up. I guess maybe I'm not going to make the divine weapon right now after all. We'll do that later. Regardless, I will do that, and I'll show you how to do that. So now we're going to go after Sif, the wolf boss, which can be a bitch unless you are good at dodging. The tactic to taking this wolf out is basically to stay underneath him, but we'll touch on that when we get there. I'm going to fast forward. Now, I swapped out the Chloranthy ring, which is the ring that gives you high stamina regeneration, in favor of the steel ring that gives you a lot of armor, essentially, because Sif just hits really hard, and being that I don't have very much armor, he's a bitch. Now, these guys are not hostile to me now because I've joined the Forest Brotherhood, or whatever it's called, Covenant here. Otherwise, these would be the guys that you would farm by running back towards the door that I came in, and you can kind of juke him to falling off a cliff. This guy here sells a lot of special weapons. You can also kill him and get his sword. And there's also an invisible ninja right behind him that you can kill, and he'll give you the wood grain ring, I believe it's called, which lets you flip around like a ninja, but it also makes you act like you have like a lot less encumbrance than you do. So if you're under 50%, you'll act like you have under 25%, or if you have 100%, it'll act like you have 50%, something like that, which is really, really good for PvP, which a lot of PvP players consider a necessary item.
That's about it then. Don't worry. It's a good old time, isn't it? Great to have you with us. Good hunting to you.
Does he have a lisp? Why would you get a voice actor that has a
Don't
lisp?
worry. You'll be called Hunter's Whisper.
Huntus Whispers. Now to get to Sif, it's just a straight shot through these woods. To the right are those little mushroom guys that we fought earlier to get the enchanted ember. But just going straight ahead, you can see the light up ahead, and that's the entrance to the boss. Now, this boss is susceptible to fire damage, I believe, so pyromancers can really kick his ass with just the combustion spell or the greater combustion spell. Just using those, and you could probably take him out without anything else. If you have like a chaos weapon, my rogue had the chaos fury sword, or Quaelag's fury sword, and that just kicked his ass too. You can see that huge sword there. You can actually unlock that sword by upgrading a weapon and using his soul on it. I don't find it all that useful though, because you have to have like 20 of each stat to make it work, and I don't know. This Hornet Ring is pretty good for, makes you double your crit damage. It's really good for rogues. I think that's the most badass cutscene in this game. Now, the trick to this boss is to just roll to the right to avoid his sword attacks, and just stay under him. If you're under him, you can still melee him if he's auto-targeted. I'm going to find out that these homing crystal soul masses aren't doing anything, so I'm going to have to switch it up and go to a regular spell. Because you can see, it's like his fur is just making them go away without them actually firing. So I'm going to have to use a little bit different tactic. But again, it's just run straight at his ass and roll underneath his blade. If you're a heavy melee with lots of armor, you can take the hits with your shield. But being that I don't have much stamina and much poise, I can't take any of those hits. You have to roll. There you go. I know this boss gives a lot of people trouble. I don't think he's ever given me trouble. I don't know. Anyway, you get the ring from him, and that's what lets us walk in the abyss, which is where the four kings are. So that's pretty much it for this video. I've got a lot of souls that I'm gonna teleport back and use to level up a bit. The next video is going to be us going down into the New Londo ruins to take, and then into the abyss and take on the four kings, which can be a challenging fight. Not for the sorcerer, but well, we'll get to that later. It's a pretty neat one. So see you then.